know,
Make house in the
it's
town.
all good, baby. I mean, I ain't gonna handcuff you. You know what I mean? If you wanna be out there, be free, baby. You know, I ain't tripping.
Florida family law tip of the day. Governor DeSantis did sign the alimony reform bill yesterday, so effective today, July 1st, permanent alimony is a thing of the past in Florida.
I recently saw an article where they want to make it difficult for women to get divorced.
This new law means that permanent alimony has come to an end in Florida.
Conservative lawmakers are trying to get rid of the no-fault divorce. And let me tell you why this is so dangerous for
Governor DeSantis just signed into law a bill that would end alimony payments for men.
I recently left my husband and came out as a lesbian at the age of 27.
Republican women say they will switch parties after DeSantis approves alimony law.
So a bunch of women in Florida are pissed off at Ron DeSantis because he's taken away.
It's crazy that they only see men as wallets, not a person with feelings, emotions, their own thoughts. You're just human doings. A wallet who shouldn't have any emotion, who shouldn't have any ideas, just do for me. Even after divorce, even after I leave you and go get my cheeks clapped by several men, I still need your provision. I'm so glad in Florida they passed this law. And wherever else this law exists, it needs to be passed. Women are strong, independent, and don't need a man. They want a bear. So let the bear finance them with berries and slugs and salmon and deer, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the bear can provide. Because they chose the bear. So shout out to Florida and Governor DeSantis. Pete.
Pay their alimony.
All right, let's talk about the new Florida alimony law and how it may catch fire in other Republican-led states. The measure was called SB 1416, and it's a bill that not even Rick Scott, the former Republican governor, would sign. But DeSantis signed it on June 30th, and it became law on July 1st. It ends permanent alimony. Now, that sounds terrible, and it is terrible for the women of Florida who were counting on having permanent alimony because it's mostly going to affect older women. But there are only 7 states in which permanent alimony exists anyway, and those are Connecticut, New Jersey, North Carolina, Oregon, Vermont, and West Virginia.
I recently saw an article where they want to make it difficult for women to get divorced.
So when no-fault divorce became the norm, the suicide rate in...
Look at these chicks. They look like witches, old and washed up.
Women dropped by 20%. 20% just based on...
From fault to no fault.
Fault to no fault. So going back to fault divorces does nothing but traps women and keeps them in dangerous situations.
This is an all-out...
What are you talking about? Who said you can't get divorced? The law says that men will stop paying for your way after you divorce them. Oh my God. These wonderfully educated women are so stupid sometimes. Oh God. But anyway, Pete.
Assault on women.
So Governor DeSantis just signed into law a bill that would end alimony payments for men who were mandated to pay these payments for the rest of their ex-wives' lives. They called it alimony forever.
Governor Ron DeSantis signed the bill into law, which now essentially does away with what is known as permanent alimony.
Camille Malone, 5-ish, says the recent change to Florida's alimony laws has her wanting to change her allegiance.
Well, I'm really disappointed because I'm a Republican. I voted for Governor DeSantis, and this makes me very sorry that I did.
Governor Ron DeSantis signed the bill that does away with what's known as permanent alimony. A group known as the First Wives Advocacy Group is among those strongly against the new law, saying it puts older women in a situation that will cause financial devastation. Co's in favor of the changes, says permanent alimony forces them to work long past the age they wanted to retire because they had to make those payments. The law also allows ex-spouses to see modifications to alimony agreements when they want to retire.
It doesn't matter if there's a difference in income or you are married for 20 years. If there's no need, there's going to be no
They're worried
alimony.
about the old women who had a lifetime of doing nothing. But the men, the older men, supposed to work until the grave just to fund these women that they're no longer with, that they no longer have access to their bodies. But they're supposed to pay their way? Oh my God. Who ever came up with the law? Who came up with that? I bet it was some super simp. Peep.
The statute was also amended to force the court to reduce or end alimony if the person getting alimony is in a supportive relationship, and that does not have to be a marriage.
A lot of people's heads think, oh, well, I'm not going to marry this person, so I get my alimony still. But that's not the way it works. And that was the way it was forever. The statute just put that in writing.
New law will only line the pockets of lawyers and the already wealthy.
And the rest of us, the older women here in Florida, well, we're just going to be, I don't know, maybe collecting government assistance.
Divorce in Florida just got cheaper. No permanent alimony in Florida any longer.
This new law means that permanent alimony has come to an end in Florida. One thing supporters and opponents disagree with regarding this new law is whether it applies to existing alimony agreements. Governor Ron DeSantis signed this bill last night, and the new law took effect today. Supporters say that this bill limits how long an ex-spouse would be required to make alimony payments, but supporters also say this would not apply to current agreements. However, opponents say courts could decide this new law could apply to existing alimony agreements, which puts some ex-spouses in a situation where they're unable to support themselves because they were depending on those payments.
It's always been important to allow judges to decide what is in the best interest of that family and, of course, of children, if there are children involved in the divorce. And this bill, now law, alongside others that have passed recently, pull that process away from the courts and into a more political realm.
Republican State Representative John Snyder of Martin County, who approved the bill, says in part, quote, as society changes, we have more households where both spouses work. By eliminating permanent alimony, the bill strikes a good balance between supporting the spouse who might not earn as much income during the marriage, while also encouraging self-supporting.
Governor DeSantis of Florida signed into a bill that is drastically modifying Florida's alimony statute. And as a divorce attorney, I want to talk about it. So the bill that was signed into law yesterday is SB 1416. And basically what it's doing is it's terminating Florida's ability to give permanent alimony.
Permanent alimony is no longer. As of July 1st, 2023, permanent alimony was eliminated by the new law. So to give you a quick example, if a short-term marriage was 6 years and the court was going to award alimony, the maximum duration, the maximum length of that alimony award could only be 3 years.
I'm so happy for the guys that got divorced and they're benefiting from the law, because these women are going batshit bonkers. And it's a great thing to see, because they asked for this. They fought to be independent, to be separate from the men. They said they didn't need our resources. They say they're better than us. So it's no reason that a man should fund a woman's lifestyle after they leave. So shout out to Sanchez. Pete.
It's always cheaper to keep her for many men who are in unhappy marriages, until now, where it's actually cheaper to leave her. It took 4 tries and nearly 10 years, but Governor Ron DeSantis has finally signed a bill to overhaul Florida's alimony laws and eliminate permanent alimony. DeSantis' approval came a year after he vetoed a similar bill, and after the former Governor Rick Scott vetoed similar bills twice. Critics argue that the bill will impoverish older ex-spouses who have been homemakers and rely on alimony payments to survive. Proponents of the bill say it adds clarity and stops ex-spouses from having to continue working long past retirement because they have to keep paying alimony payments.
Spending allowance per month is $1,000.
I feel like a peasant. If you ask me, I think my mom...
Spending allowance $1,000 a month, and she feels like a peasant. The entitlement of these. Lord, I pray I never raise an entitled douchebag prick of a son, daughter. Ugh.
Mom should be giving me at least $2,500 a month just to cover my basic expenses. When my mom refuses to give me money, I make her life a living hell.
You wrote into me. Tell me what you wanted me to get straight with your mom.
I want my mom to understand that I can't live off of $1,000 a month, and I grew up on a certain lifestyle. She can't just take that away from me immediately. If someone took her lifestyle away from her, she wouldn't like that. And I grew up on it. It's all I ever know. I can't deal with this. And so I came to you for help.
Okay.
I think the best thing would be to start with a job.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. No. She needs a job.
No.
Are you kidding me? Look at her face. This starts when they're young. Ungrateful, entitled, modern females. Guys, guard your wallets. I'm not saying you can't interact with them and hook up with them and have a good time. Some of you might still want to date or whatever, but guard your wallets, man, because these chicks are leeches. They're grifters. They're scammers. That's all they want to do is take from you. And they don't want to do nothing in life. Put these chicks to work.
You need a job.
No, I don't want a job.
Well, I know.
It's so much work.
Don't know how to hold a real nigga down. You can't even hold yourself down, baby. And consider this my love letter to you. Cause you know, like I said before,